What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Prophet Eneh. I'm an international student in the USA doing my master's program in architecture. So last time we started an interesting conversation on what you need to do to come to the US, the application process and the rest. And if you have not seen the part 1 of this video, I encourage you to check somewhere here, maybe. Check somewhere here, you will see the part 1. Go watch that part 1 first of all before you watch this part 2. And if you want to watch my testimony, you can also check here. I uploaded 2 versions of my testimonies. You can check there and watch the testimony. But then in today's video, we're talking about the documents you need to apply to the US, the documents you need to apply to schools in the US, and also the exams and the rest. So if you're interested, keep watching. So guys, before we dive into this video, I want to say it. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please, I am begging you, in the name of God, go and subscribe. Go and subscribe. I'm waiting for you. Have you? Have you? Go and subscribe. Stop, go and subscribe. So in the process of watching this video, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up and also share with your friends, hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified the next time I upload a new video. So like I said, today we'll be diving into the documents you require to be able to study in the US. So I am having fun doing this though, but then so when it comes to studying in the US, if you watched the first video, you remember what I told you about the school, each school being unique. There are primary documents you need to apply to schools, but at the same time, every school requires different things. Get this. So it's possible that school A will tell you to submit this document, submit that document, submit that document, and school B will never even ask you for that document. While there are some schools that will ask you for the same thing. So I'll be giving you basically the documents you need so that at least now you start getting those documents ready even before the application period opens. So normally in the US, the application windows open around, I think September, when this October, mostly October. That's when the application period open for most schools in the USA, and most of them close, like most close around January the 15th, while some close in December, some close November, some close February. So there are different deadlines, and also there are priority deadlines. Priority deadlines are usually deadlines that has to do with scholarship. So if you miss the priority deadlines, you might still be able to submit your application, but you probably might not be able to be considered for funding. So you want to, what you're looking for, because you're looking for free education, my brother, my sister. So what you want to do is to ensure that you are submitting your application during the priority deadline, unless you have millions to spend in school. So with that said, application opens around September. So now is even a good time. If you are been someone who has been thinking about this ahead of time, then this is good for you. But then if you have not been thinking about this, that's for those of you that want to study the following year. Well, now is a good time to start getting your documents ready so that by next year you'll be able to apply. So because right now in Nigeria, for example, the universities are on strike. So, and one of the most important documents you need for this application process is usually your transcript. And getting a transcript right now is super hard if you have not even started the process, or if you've just graduated and you are still trying to do your clearance. I'm so sorry that you're Nigerian. But for those in other schools, in other countries, I think, well, you can also, if you can get your transcript by this time, then you are good to go. So like I already said, the first document you need is your transcript. Now let me give you people a hack. This is very important. When I was applying to schools, there is this thing that each school does. So there are schools that will tell you to apply with official transcripts, while there are schools that will tell you you can apply with unofficial transcripts. So for those schools that will ask you to apply with official transcripts, my brother, run from them. They might be good schools, but run. Because what it means that official transcripts means that your school will have to send them your transcripts directly. And if you know Nigeria very well, to send that to your school, it will cost you not less than, depending on the school, some schools it costs you 10,000, some it costs you 20,000 naira, some it costs you 30,000, some 40,000. So you don't want to, just imagine you are applying to 4 schools and you have to pay 40,000 naira for each of these schools to send your transcript to the other school. Where did you find that money? So this is a hack. This is what I personally did. I looked for schools. Remember in the first video I talked about QS, so I used the QS ranking to get those schools. Then I went into that school, that particular school, into my program, and I figured out, okay, look at the necessary documents they want. And one of the key things I was checking was the transcript requirements. Once they say they need a transcript, they can upload the unofficial copy, then it's safe for me. I put them one side. Okay, this is a possible school I'll be applying to. But once they say official transcript and it means sending the original copy from the school to them, then I delete it from my list, because I don't have the money to be sending transcript like that. Because usually what most of these schools that require your unofficial transcript, what they do is that they will allow you to upload like your student version of your transcripts. When you upload that student version to their application portal, they will use that student version to evaluate you and give you admission. So if you finally get an admission and you decide to go to the school, they will now require you to now tell your school to send them your official copy. You guys get the hack for this transcript. So this is what I did. This is my hack. So if you see any school that is requesting for official transcripts, run. Then also, when it comes to transcript, there are schools that require you to do evaluation. It's called WES evaluation, WES evaluation. So because Nigerian system is 5.0, that's our ranking, our, how do they put it, our grading. We do like 4.0, 5.0, that's 5.0 being first class, but in the US is 4.0. So some schools don't accept Nigerian transcript, so they will require you to send it to WES. WES will now convert your transcript, Nigerian transcript, to the US standard version, and then they will now send it to the school. So, and this thing I think cost around $200 to around $300 to do it, and you are required to submit a lot of documents to get it done. So me, myself, and I again, we avoided that process. Any school that required WES, we don't apply to those schools. I'm telling you guys what I did because it's all about applying to the school that matter to you, but at the same time, there are a lot of things you have to consider. Also, I had to do this because there's not much money to spend on these things. Remember, you're doing this yourself. You probably are not from the wealthy family, or you're just trying to manage another stuff. So you don't want to be spending a lot of money. At the same time, you still want to go to a good school. So I avoided any school that had to do anything to do with WES. I didn't go for them. I just left them on their own. Don't worry. There are over 1,000 schools in the US I can apply to. There are over 1,000 schools, universities in the US that I can apply to. So there's no point stressing myself to keep myself over you and get worse. So that's another thing about transcripts. So, but if you want to take these options, they are good. If you feel like the school that you want to apply to, that this is your top brand school, you want to go to the school, no matter what, do or die, you want to go there. Well, you can forward your official copy to them, and at the same time, you can also do WES if they're requesting for WES evaluation. So that is that. So also, those that I think I've heard recently that WES also evaluates PhD, HND. So for some of you that have OND and HND in Nigeria, it's also good to send your, that's your best bet. Let me just advise you, because some of the schools in the US, they don't even know what's HND and OND. Some of them, they don't know. So the best thing you can do for yourself is to send your transcript to WES. WES evaluates your transcript and put it in the US standard. Then when you want to upload your transcript or send your transcript, you just use that WES evaluation. But the funny thing there too, again, is that there are some schools that don't accept WES. There are other programs, there are other things that you can use and evaluate. And also there are some schools that don't care. So that's why I said different schools, different thing goes. So I think that's all we have to talk about when it comes to transcripts. Then the next document you'll be needing that is so essential to your application that you need to ace. Sorry, let me take you a little bit back. This transcript is why I encourage everybody who wants to study in the US to start on time to prepare. Don't joke with your grades in school, because if you have a good transcript, if you're an A student, get that A. Don't say you want to just pass and leave school. If you want to get an A, get an A. Pass very, very well, because it puts you ahead of, because in US, most of their schools, your GPA has to be 3.0. So if you get below 3.0, then it becomes very tricky. It's not like it's an impossibility, but it gets very, very tricky. So you need to score like a 3.0 over 4, not 3.0 over 5. Because remember what I said, Nigeria standard is over 5, there is over 4. So you need to score 3.0 over 4. So this is why if you are watching this and you're still in school, try to upgrade your mark, or pass your exam very well so that you get more chances to study in the US. So let's move on. So the next kind of documents you'll be needing for your application is what we call the SOP, that's statement of purpose or the letter of intent. It sometimes means the same thing for different schools, sometimes it means different thing for different schools. So basically, SOP is a document that you write about yourself, your experience, your educational background. So it's more of like you are trying to sell yourself to the school. That's what you're doing in your SOP. Statement of sell yourself to this. What have you been doing? Maybe your experience, work experience, your education background, how you started going for this course, what made you want to do this. So you can read more of these things. You can go online and read up. So it needs to be very, very strong, your SOP. Then the next document is your LOR, letter of recommendation. So one thing about studying in the US, it needs recommendation from professors or probably where you have worked before. So some schools require 2, some require 3, some schools require that you send 2 from your professor, some require that you send 1 from your employee. So it depends on the school, like I said. So that's why it's very, very important that you go to the school website directly and find out what the school are asking you to do. That's one thing. Don't assume what I'm giving you a general document here, but then you still need to go to the school, open their website, go to your program, find out their requirements, and mark everything. Each school, what I did basically for mine was that each school I'm listing out, I have like a column where I write out that particular school, what they require from me, and I list it down. The next school, what they require from me, and I list it down. So when I start getting those things, I start checking it off my list. And some of these things, some of your documents, you can reuse it multiple times for different schools, but then sometimes you have to remember to streamline it to that particular school. So your letter of recommendation. So most times what they do is that they will ask you for the email contact address of your professor or the employee you want to use, and then they will send an email directly to the professor, and the professor will now write the letter of recommendation and now send it to them directly. You don't even get to see it. But then there's always a hack around this thing, which I don't want to talk about. Here. So go for that, get your LOR. So now is a good time to start contacting those professors back in school that you are friends with, those ones, because my journey with the LOR was something else. Just go watch that video. You need to hear that story. It was something else. So go get that LOR. Sorry, what am I saying? So go start contacting those professors, start sending them, how are you? How's your wife doing? How's your husband doing? How are the kids? Start familiarizing yourself with them because you will need them. You see, when it comes to evaluation, you need those professors. So start familiarizing yourself with them because they'll be the one to send that straight to the school. Then the next document you need, some schools they will require you for your graduate certificate. Some schools require that, some don't. It's the school that requires it is not much. So you just need to get your certificate and send it to the school. Then the other document that is essential, but this is specific to my program and maybe some other program, not common for other programs, is your portfolio. So, and as an architect, they believe that I've had designs, projects I've worked on. They want to see my creativity and the rest. So they requested that I submit a portfolio. So this portfolio contains your project you have worked on in school and you have worked on professionally. You put them together and everything. I'll put a link in case you are an architecture student or you are a design student and you are going for a master's degree in the US. I will put a link below to my portfolio online that is online, so you can check it out and see what mine looked like, what I applied with. So for me, I had different portfolio at different times and all stuff like that. So that's a unique thing to my program and to some other programs. So the next document we are looking at today is publications or research. So publications or research is usually for those going for a PhD program. So it's not compulsory, but sometimes some schools require it. So some schools they might request that you send them a proposal of a publication or maybe a proposal of a research you have done, something like that. I really don't have full detail on this because it's not something I did, but I've had a lot of people talk about it. So I think one of the schools asked me to submit a sample essay or is it sample article or something like that. I remember one school asking me to do that. And what I basically did was that because I did my final year project, what I did was I took my final year project paper that I wrote. I had to edit a lot of stuff out, touch it up, and then I submitted it to the school. So publication. So one other thing, if you are going for a research program, you need to start publishing stuff online. Not just online, like on all these publication platforms that you do. So you people that are in research, people know what people normally do. I don't know what you people do. So so you people should go and know how you publish. So you need like a research paper publication so that at least you can have something to show that you're a serious human being. Then there are some schools that will require you to perform interviews. So even when you are done with this application process, they might require to interview you. So it's not like a document, but then it's something that you should get ready for, because you can never tell the school that will ask you for an interview. I think I've listed it. Okay, yeah, there are two different exams. These are where a lot of people get tired. There are two different exams you have to write. So this is another version of this video that I want to talk about. So there are two different exams you have to write. You have to write the GRE, the Graduate Record Examination. I usually equate this exam to JAMB. So the Graduate Record Exam, that's the GRE, which is of three sections: the verbal, the quantitative, and the analytical writing. It's like essay writing. So I equate these videos into three different categories. So the first one is the verbal. It's like English language, where you do so many things. See, I wrote this exam 3 times, but it's a long story, but it's where. Can you imagine writing the exam 3 times? First one, you didn't prepare for the exam. I need to tell you guys this thing because you need to hear it. Let me be serious and tell you guys this story. I wrote this exam 3 good times, GRE. And this exam, I will not lie to you guys, I'll be honest, the exam is hard. It's hard, very, very hard. So, but I wrote it 3 times. The first time I wasn't really prepared. I was doing my NYSC. I wrote the exam. Usually, you are always aiming 300 and above, because the exam, I think the exam is the lowest score you can have is 240, I think. And the highest score you can have is 340 or 360. I can't remember, sorry. I don't want to remember the exam, but I'm trying so much to remember the exam. So, the GRE, I didn't prepare so well, and I went and wrote the exam. I scored 285. Yeah, I think 285. I scored 285. I wasn't prepared. So I had to take a 6 months break from work, from everything. I was going for lesson, preparing for this exam. I even had to start mathematics from the beginning. 2 times 1, 2, 2 times 2, 4, 2 times 3, 6, 2 times. I started learning plus and plus, minus, plus. Man, started learning big words, big English words. I had to come down low like I was still in primary school and start preparing for this exam. I thought that I could pass this exam because I wanted to smash this GRE. I turned into a student. I went to YouTube. So in case you want to write the exam, so let me encourage you. There are so many textbooks you can use, but then before we get that, there's this YouTube channel called Khan Academy, and there's this other guy, I can't remember his name. Those are very good YouTube channels you can watch to brushing your mathematics and English skill up. So I wrote this exam. So after 6 months of preparing, I wrote this exam again. Guess what I scored? After my hard preparation, I scored 287. 287. Who does that? 287. That's like 2 marks increase to what I scored the last time. Okay, well, I felt like giving up, but my sister was like, just give it one more try, After a month, I decided to go back and write this exam. Brothers and sisters, men and brethren. I scored 285. So it means like the first exam I wrote, I scored 285. Second one I wrote, I scored 287. Third one I wrote 285. After the third one, I was like, brother, I'm not writing this exam again, I'm tired. I'll not come and keep myself as I'm writing the exam, because the exam is self-annoying. So, but then there are people who wrote this exam and they are scoring 300, 320 and the rest. So one thing about this exam is that it's very, very good to write it. GRE puts you on a different level. It boosts your chances of getting into more schools, and it boosts your chances of getting funding too. So it's very important if you can afford the examination. I don't know how much it's right now, but I know then when I was writing, it was around 70,000 naira. At a point, it was 80,000. Right now, I don't know if it's up to 100,000 or even more. I don't know. Some people register it cheap. There's just different ways. So you just have to find the people that register it and register. I think then BY Math Fits in Lagos, they used to register. I don't know about now. So you just have to register for the exam. This is one of the costliest part of the whole American study process. These exams you have to register for. But the good thing is that you have to prepare very well so that you write it just once. You don't have to pay twice to write it. So you get what I'm saying? So GRE is very interesting. Just prepare yourself for it. So some of the materials you can use for GRE to prepare yourself is Manhattan. They have this 5 prep book that you can start. If you read that, I think Manhattan is very good when it comes to quantitative part of the exam. That's the mathematics part of it. Then they have the Magush. Magush also has, I think they are very good in verbal, and they have Kaplan. People don't read Kaplan, but then you can at least use Kaplan and start. So these are like 3 main people I know that are very into this GRE. Then the second exam you have to write is TOEFL or IELTS. Now I know that not so many of us like this exam because you feel like you can speak English, so why do I have to write an exam for test of English language? Well, I don't like it too that I had to write this exam, but what this does for you is that it also gives you an advantage. So there are some schools that you might not require to submit a TOEFL score or an IELTS score. They recognize Nigeria as an English speaking country, so some of these schools you also have to look out for. So in case you don't have money to write these exams, the good thing about the US, like I said earlier, is that different schools require different things. So there are some of these schools that don't require GRE. There are some programs that don't require GRE. For instance, the school I am in now, they didn't require that GRE that I was killing myself over writing. But then I encourage you to still write it though, but they didn't require it, but I still submitted it to the school to try to boost my my potential of getting into the school. And there are other schools I applied to. Like I don't know if you've watched my previous video, you hear what I said. I applied to 8 different schools in the USA and I got into 7 of them. So some of these schools I applied with that low GRE score. So one thing I will advise you here is that even if you score low in your GRE, don't give up. Apply with that GRE score. That's one of the mistakes I made. The first time I wrote this GRE, I felt like it was low, so I won't apply. Let me go and prepare very well and smash it. I knew if I had applied, then it's possible that I could have gotten into so many other schools, but then I was discouraged. So go ahead and apply to those schools with the GRE score you have. Even if you don't get into the school, at least you tried. So it's very, very important. So because even the school I am right now, I didn't use it to enter it. So also, you can also search for schools, like I said, that don't require this GRE or this TOEFL or recognize Nigeria as an English-speaking country. It's a good thing if you get into those schools too. Sometimes the tricky part of not writing this exam is that it doesn't, like, you have limited chances. Like your chances are not so broad. Like if you had the opportunity to apply to 10 schools, you discover that by the time you have to remove the schools that has required GRE, you are left with only like 5 or 3. So I'm just giving you an example. So if you can write this exam, if you can afford it, go and write them, go and pass them. So when it comes to TOEFL or IELTS, it's basically a test of English language. They try to test your speaking, your reading, your listening, and your reading. So reading, how you comprehend when you read, how you speak, how you understand when things are said, because you're coming into an American setting where their English is not like our Nigerian English, where you'll be hearing like, what's up, what are you doing, all this kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? All those shimmery. Yes, you're coming into that kind of environment, so they want to be sure that you can be able to understand this thing. And also another thing about the TOEFL and the IELTS is that it boosts your chances of getting assistantship. So for example, if you're going to be teaching undergraduate student or getting a TA, which we're going to be talking about in the financial aspect of this video, then you need to ensure that you submit that score because it boosts your chances of getting recognized. Just imagine that you are presented with 2, like you people have submitted your application, so many people submitting the application, and then they are finally chosen and it's left between you and somebody, and they now have to choose between the 2 of you, and they look at your portfolio, everything is good, the other person's own is so good too, and they compare 2 of you, but then the other person has a TOEFL and you don't have a TOEFL. So who do you think they will pick? So probably the person that has a TOEFL. Let's God is speaking for you in that situation. So because the person has a TOEFL score, they think that this person is qualified, they trust this person's ability so well and everything. So just write it if you can afford it, but if you cannot afford it, we understand that things are hard. Well, you can look for those schools that don't require it. So I believe I've mentioned, I didn't write IELTS, so I don't have much to say about IELTS, but I know that there are a couple of stuff you can get online if you research. Remember what I said earlier, one thing about studying in the US is all about research. You have to be ready to research. You have to be ready to dig deep in and get these things. So especially if you're coming here to do a PhD, you have to learn how to write, how to read, how to research. So that is that for that. So in today's video, we talked about what documents you need. We talked about exams you need to write, GRE, TOEFL, and some of the other stuff we talked about today. I know I'm leaving out something, but I can't remember what I'm leaving out. But then we are still on this series. So if you are enjoying yourself, if you are learning from this and you're getting ready to apply, so I will encourage you to subscribe, invite your friends, like, share, you know the rest. Please do them. What will I be sharing with you guys in the next video? I think in the next video we'll be talking about financing your education. I think that's a good one, right? Guys, that's a good one. Financing your education, so that you guys will know how to finance your studies. Finance your studies. All right, guys. Catch you guys later.